Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Country Icebergs. My name is Karan, and today we are going over India Iceberg. Enjoy. Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is a white marble mausoleum located in India, built in the 17th century by Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. It was constructed in memory of his wife Mumtaz Mahal, who died during childbirth. The structure is widely considered one of the most beautiful architectural achievements in the world, combining Islamic, Persian, and Indian design styles. It is famous for its symmetry, intricate carvings, and the large central dome. Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was a major political and spiritual leader in India who led the non-violent struggle for independence from British rule. He developed the philosophy of satyagraha, which emphasized non-violent resistance and civil disobedience. Gandhi organized key campaigns, such as the Salt March against British salt taxes, inspiring millions to join the independence movement. His leadership played a central role in ending the British Raj. He was assassinated in 1948. Curry. Curry is a broad term for dishes made with a blend of spices and herbs cooked into a sauce or gravy. It originated in South Asia, especially in countries like India, but is now popular worldwide with many regional variations. Common ingredients include turmeric, cumin, coriander, chili, garlic, and ginger, which create its rich flavor and aroma. Curries can include meat, fish, vegetables, or legumes, and are typically served with rice or bread, such as naan. Holi. Holi is a major Hindu festival celebrated mainly in India and Nepal, marking the arrival of spring and the victory of good over evil. It is known as the Festival of Colors because people throw colored powders and water at each other in celebration. The festival is associated with stories from Hindu mythology, especially the devotion of Prahlad and the defeat of the demoness Holika. Holi usually takes place in March and includes music, dancing, sweets, and social gatherings. Cows. Cows hold a special cultural, religious, and economic role in India. In Hinduism, which is the major religion in India, cows are widely regarded as sacred and are associated with non-violence and motherhood. Because of this belief, cow slaughter is restricted or banned in many Indian states. Cows are also important for agriculture, providing milk, dung for fuel and fertilizer, and helping in rural farming work. Most populous country. The most populous country in the world is India, with a population of over 1.4 billion people. It recently surpassed China in total population, making India the global leader in population size. India's large population is spread across many states with diverse languages, cultures, and religions. Rapid urbanization, a young population, and economic growth are key features of its demographics. BPO, business process, outsourcing is a major part of the economy in India, where companies handle customer support, tech support, sales, and services for international businesses. Call operators, also called customer service agents, answer phone calls, emails, or chats to help customers solve problems or get information. India became a global hub for this industry because of its large English speaking workforce and lower operating costs. Major cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Delhi NCR have thousands of call center employees working for global companies. Ganges River. Ganges River is one of the most important rivers in India and is considered sacred in Hinduism. It originates from the Himalayas and flows through northern India before entering Bangladesh, where it joins the Bay of Bengal. Millions of people depend on the river for drinking water, agriculture, and transportation. It is also deeply religious, with many cities like Varanasi located along its banks, serving as major pilgrimage sites. Delhi. Delhi is the capital city of India and one of the largest urban areas in the world. It serves as the political center of India, hosting key institutions like the parliament and the residence of the president. Delhi has a long history, with ancient roots in cities like Indraprastha and later major development under various empires, including the Mughals. Today, it is a major hub for government, business, education, and culture. Bollywood. Bollywood is the popular name for the Hindi language film industry based in Mumbai. It produces hundreds of films each year and is one of the largest film industries in the world. Bollywood movies are known for their music, dance sequences, romance, and dramatic storytelling. The industry has produced globally recognized actors like Shah Rukh Khan, Amitabh Bachchan, and Deepika Padukone. Yoga. Yoga is an ancient practice that originated in India and combines physical postures, breathing techniques, and meditation. It is designed to improve physical health, mental clarity, and spiritual well being. Yoga has roots in Hindu, Buddhist, and Jain traditions, with references dating back thousands of years. Modern yoga is widely practiced around the world in both traditional and fitness focused forms. Country with most YouTubers. India has the most YouTubers, both in terms of total content creators and overall audience size, boasting an advertising reach of over 518 million viewers. The United States follows closely in audience reach, with 259 million users, and both countries dominate the global lists for the most creators and highest earning channels. Rickshaw. Rickshaw is a small vehicle used for short distance transportation, especially in crowded cities. It is common in countries like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and parts of Southeast Asia. Traditional rickshaws are pulled or pedaled by a person, while modern versions are often motorized. They are popular because they are affordable, flexible, and can move easily through narrow or busy streets. Mughal Empire. The Mughal Empire was a powerful Islamic empire that ruled much of India and surrounding regions from the 16th to the 19th century. It was founded by Babur in 1526 after the First Battle of Panipat. The empire became known for its military strength, administrative systems, art, and architecture, including the Taj Mahal. Famous rulers such as Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and Aurangzeb expanded and shaped the empire. British Raj. The British Raj was the period when India was governed directly by the British Crown. After the Indian Rebellion of 1857, it lasted from 1858 until India gained independence in 1947. During this time, Britain controlled large parts of the Indian subcontinent through colonial administration, railways, taxation systems, and military power. The period saw major economic and social changes, as well as growing nationalist movements led by figures like Mahatma Gandhi. Indian independence. Indian independence refers to the moment when India gained independence from the British Raj on August 15th, 1947. The independence movement involved decades of political activism, protests, and nonviolent resistance, led by figures such as Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru. Independence also came with the partition of British India into India and Pakistan, causing massive migration and communal violence. Jawaharlal Nehru became independent India's first prime minister. Diwali. Diwali is one of the most important festivals in India and is celebrated by Hindus, Jains, Sikhs, and some Buddhists. Known as the Festival of Lights, it symbolizes the victory of light over darkness and good over evil. People celebrate by lighting oil lamps called diyas, decorating homes, sharing sweets, and setting off fireworks. Diwali is associated with several religious traditions including the return of Lord Rama to Ayodhya. In Hindu mythology, the Vedas. The Vedas are the oldest and most sacred scriptures of Hinduism, originating in ancient India. They were composed in Sanskrit over thousands of years and form the foundation of many Hindu beliefs, rituals, and philosophies. The four main Vedas are the Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharva Veda. These texts include hymns, prayers, rituals, and discussions about the universe, spirituality, and human life. Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru was a central leader in the Indian independence movement and the first Prime Minister of independent India, serving from 1947 to 1964. He worked closely with Mahatma Gandhi in the struggle against British rule under the British Raj. Nehru was known for promoting democratic governance, secularism, and modernization after independence. He also played a major role in establishing India's foreign policy during the early Cold War period. Indira Gandhi. Indira Gandhi was a major political leader who served as Prime Minister of India from 1966 to 1977 and again from 1980 to 1984. She was the daughter of Jawaharlal Nehru and became one of the most influential and controversial leaders in Indian history. Her time in office included major events such as the Bangladesh Liberation War, which resulted in the independence of Bangladesh. She also declared a state of emergency in India from 1975 to 1977, which expanded government control and restricted civil liberties. Indira Gandhi was assassinated in 1984 by her own bodyguards, an event that led to widespread unrest in the country. The emergency. The, the emergency was a 21-month period from 1975 to 1977 when the government of India suspended many civil liberties and expanded central authority. It was declared by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi after political unrest and a court ruling that challenged her election. During this time, elections were postponed, press freedom was restricted, and many opposition leaders were arrested. The government justified the emergency as necessary for national stability and economic order, but it remains highly controversial. INC. INC refers to the Indian National Congress, one of the oldest political parties in India. It played a central role in the Indian independence movement against the British Raj, with leaders such as Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru. After independence in 1947, the INC became the dominant political party in India for several decades. Salt March. The Salt March was a major act of nonviolent resistance led by Mahatma Gandhi against British colonial rule in India. It took place in 1930 during the British Raj and was a protest against the British monopoly and tax on salt. Gandhi led a 240-mile march from Sabarmati Ashram to the coastal village of Dandi, where he made salt from seawater in defiance of British law. The movement inspired widespread civil disobedience across India, with millions participating in protests and boycotts. Quit India movement. The Quit India movement was a major mass protest launched in 1942 by the Indian National Congress under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi. It demanded an immediate end to the British Raj and called for the British to quit India. The movement was part of the broader struggle for independence in India and involved widespread strikes, protests, and civil disobedience. The British authorities responded by arresting major leaders and suppressing the movement forcefully. Subhas Bose. Subhas Chandra Bose was a prominent leader in the Indian independence movement against the British Raj. He was a member of the Indian National Congress, but later broke away due to ideological differences. During World War II, he sought foreign support to fight British rule and led the Indian National Army. He is known for his slogan, "Give me blood and I will give you freedom." NCM, the Non Cooperation Movement, was a mass protest movement launched by the Indian National Congress under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi. It was part of the struggle against the British Raj in India. The movement encouraged Indians to boycott British institutions, including schools, courts, goods, and government jobs. It was a major example of Gandhi's strategy of nonviolent resistance, or Satyagraha, Jallianwala Massacre. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre was a tragic event that took place in 1919 in India during the British Raj. British troops under Colonel Reginald Dyer fired on a large, unarmed crowd gathered in a walled garden in Amritsar, Punjab. The crowd had assembled for a peaceful protest and religious festival. Hundreds of people were killed and many more were injured, though exact numbers remain disputed. Ashoka Ashoka, often called Ashoka the Great, was one of the most powerful rulers of ancient India and ruled the Maurya Empire in the 3rd century BCE. He is known for expanding his empire across much of the Indian subcontinent. After the bloody Kalinga War, Ashoka embraced Buddhism and promoted nonviolence, compassion, and ethical governance. He spread Buddhist teachings through monuments, inscriptions, and diplomatic missions across Asia. Maurya Empire. The Maurya Empire was one of the largest and most powerful empires in ancient India, existing from around 322 BCE to 185 BCE. It was founded by Chandragupta Maurya after overthrowing the Nanda dynasty. The empire reached its greatest extent under Ashoka, who promoted Buddhism and ruled much of the Indian subcontinent. The Mauryas developed centralized administration, trade networks, and infrastructure across their territories. Gupta Empire. The Gupta Empire was a major empire in ancient India that existed roughly from the 4th to 6th centuries CE. It is often called the Golden Age of India because of major achievements in science, mathematics, literature, astronomy, and art. Important scholars such as Aryabhata made advances in mathematics and astronomy during this period. The empire was founded by Chandragupta I and expanded under rulers like Samudragupta and Chandragupta II. Caste system. The caste system is a historical social structure associated mainly with India and parts of South Asia. It traditionally divided society into groups based on occupation, ancestry, and social status. Over time, this system became deeply rooted in social and cultural life, influencing marriage, work, and community interactions. India's constitution officially bans caste based discrimination, and modern laws aim to promote equality and protect historically disadvantaged communities. Indian Councils Act. The Indian Councils Act refers to a series of laws passed during the British Raj to change the structure of governance in India. Important versions were enacted in 1861, 1892, and 1909, each gradually expanding the role of Indians in legislative councils. The acts allowed limited Indian participation in administration, though real political power remained largely under British control. The 1909 Act, also called the Morley Minto Reforms, introduced separate electorates for Muslims, which had long term political consequences. Battle of Plassey. The Battle of Plassey was a decisive conflict fought in 1757 in India between the forces of the British East India Company and the Nawab of Bengal, Siraj ud Dowlah. The British were led by Robert Clive and secured victory through military strategy and alliances with defectors within the Nawab's camp. This battle marked a major turning point, greatly expanding British political and economic control in India during the early phase of colonial rule. Sitar. Sitar is a plucked string instrument that originated in India and is widely used in Hindustani classical music. It typically has a long neck, a gourd shaped body, and multiple strings. including sympathetic strings that vibrate to create a rich, resonant sound. The sitar became internationally famous through musicians like Ravi Shankar, who introduced it to global audiences in the 20th century. It is often used in classical performances, meditation music, and fusion genres. Silk Road. The Silk Road was a vast network of trade routes that connected East Asia, Central Asia, the Middle East, and Europe, with important links passing through India. India played a major role in this network by trading spices, textiles, gemstones, and other luxury goods. Indian ports on the western and eastern coast helped connect maritime trade routes alongside the overland Silk Road. The exchange along these roads also spread ideas, religions like Buddhism, and cultural influences across regions. Doctrine of LASP. The doctrine of lapse refers to the doctrine of lapse used by the British East India Company during the British Raj in India. It was introduced mainly under Governor General Lord Dalhousie in the 19th century. Under this policy, if an Indian princely ruler died without a natural male heir, his kingdom could be annexed by the British. The policy was widely criticized as unfair and was a major source of resentment against British rule. Battle of Panipat. The Battle of Panipat refers to several important battles fought near Panipat in India that shaped the region's history. The most significant include the first, 1526, second, 1556, and third, 1761 battles of Panipat. These battles involved major powers such as the Mughal Empire, Afghan forces under Ahmad Shah Durrani, and various Indian kingdoms. The first battle of Panipat led to the establishment of the Mughal Empire by Babur, Robert Clive. Robert Clive was a British officer and administrator who played a major role in establishing British power in India during the 18th century. He is best known for his leadership in the Battle of Plassey, where the British East India Company defeated the Nawab of Bengal. This victory significantly expanded British influence and laid the foundation for colonial rule in India. Clive later served as governor of Bengal and helped consolidate company control over large territories. British East India Company. The British East India Company was a powerful trading company formed in 1600 in the United Kingdom. It was originally created to trade with Asia but eventually became a dominant political and military force in India. The company expanded its control after victories such as the Battle of Plassey, allowing it to rule large parts of India through its own armies and administrators. Over time, it collected taxes, controlled trade, and governed territories almost like a state. The Swadeshi movement. The Swadeshi movement was a major nationalist movement in India that began in 1905 in response to the partition of Bengal by the British government. It encouraged Indians to boycott British goods and promote Indian made products. Swadeshi, meaning of one's own country. The movement became a key part of the struggle against the British Raj. It involved protests, the establishment of indigenous industries, and the revival of Indian crafts and education. Annexation of Awash. The annexation of Awadh was the takeover of the princely state of Awadh, also called Oudh, in 1856 by the British East India Company in India. The British accused the Nawab of misrule and used this as justification to remove him and place the region under direct company control. This annexation was highly unpopular and caused widespread anger among soldiers, nobles, and civilians. Many historians see it as one of the key political grievances that contributed to the Indian Rebellion of 1857, Sepoy Mutiny. The Indian Rebellion of 1857 is often referred to in older British sources as the Sepoy Mutiny. It took place in India and began when Indian soldiers in the British East India Company's army rebelled against their commanders. The uprising spread rapidly across northern and central India, involving civilians, local rulers, and soldiers. Key causes included resentment over British policies, cultural interference, and grievances, such as the annexation of Awadh. Carnatic Wars. The Carnatic Wars were a series of military conflicts in the 18th century in India between European colonial powers, mainly the British East India Company and the French East India Company, along with their Indian allies. These wars were fought primarily in the Carnatic region of South India as both powers competed for political and trading dominance. Key battles and shifting alliances allowed the British to gradually gain the upper hand over the French. The wars are closely linked to broader conflicts in Europe, especially the War of Austrian Succession and the Seven Years' War. Prayagraj. Prayagraj is a major city in India located at the confluence of three rivers, the Ganges, Yamuna, and the mythical Saraswati. It is one of the oldest cities in India and has deep historical, cultural, and religious significance. The city is especially famous for hosting the Kumbh Mela, one of the largest religious gatherings in the world. Prayagraj has also played an important role in Indian political history, particularly during the independence movement under the British Raj. Bhopal disaster. The Bhopal disaster was one of the worst industrial accidents in history, which occurred in India on the night of December 2nd to 3rd, 1984. A toxic gas called methyl isocyanate leaked from a pesticide plant owned by Union Carbide India Limited in the city of Bhopal. The leak spread rapidly over nearby residential areas, exposing hundreds of thousands of people. Thousands of people died immediately, and many more suffered long term health effects such as respiratory illness and eye damage. Kalinga War. The Kalinga War was a major conflict fought around 261 BCE between the Maurya Empire and the Kingdom of Kalinga in ancient India. The war was led by Emperor Ashoka and resulted in a devastating loss of life. According to historical accounts, the suffering caused by the war deeply affected Ashoka. After the conflict, he embraced Buddhism and turned toward policies promoting peace, nonviolence, and moral governance. Rajiv Gandhi assassination. The assassination of Rajiv Gandhi took place on May 21st, 1991, in India during an election campaign event in Tamil Nadu. Rajiv Gandhi, who had served as Prime Minister from 1984 to 1989, was killed in a suicide bombing carried out by a member of the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam. The attack was linked to India's involvement in the Sri Lankan Civil War and the deployment of Indian peacekeeping forces in Sri Lanka during the 1980s. The assassination shocked the nation and had a major impact on Indian politics and security policy. The Rashtrakuta. Rashtrakuta dynasty was a powerful ruling dynasty in India that controlled large parts of the Deccan region from the 8th to 10th centuries CE. The Rashtrakutas were known for their military strength, support of trade, and patronage of art, literature, and religion. They ruled from their capital at Manyakheta and competed with other major dynasties such as the Pratiharas and Palas. One of their greatest architectural achievements is the Kailasa temple at Ellora, carved directly into rock. Vijayanagara Empire. The Vijayanagara Empire was a powerful Hindu empire in southern India that existed from the 14th to 17th centuries. It was founded in 1336 by Harihara I and Bukkaraya I and became one of the richest and most influential states in medieval India. The empire was known for its military strength, trade, literature, and impressive architecture, especially in its capital city of Hampi. Vijayanagara acted as a major center of Hindu culture and resisted invasions from rival kingdoms and sultanates. The Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultanate was a series of Muslim dynasties that ruled large parts of India from 1206 to 1526. It was centered in the city of Delhi and included several ruling dynasties such as the Mamluks, Khaljis, Tughlaqs, Sayyids, and Lodis. The Delhi Sultanate expanded Islamic political influence in northern India and introduced important administrative, military, and architectural developments. It also became a center of cultural exchange between Persian, Central Asian, and Indian traditions. The tripartite struggle. The tripartite struggle was a long political and military conflict in early medieval India between three major dynasties: the Gurjara Pratiharas, the Palas, and the Rashtrakuta dynasty. The struggle mainly centered on control of the rich and strategically important city of Kannauj in northern India. These dynasties fought repeatedly from the 8th to 10th centuries to expand their influence and dominance. The conflict weakened all three powers over time and contributed to political fragmentation in northern India. Battle of Panipat. The Battle of Panipat refers to three major battles fought near Panipat in India that greatly shaped Indian history. The first battle of Panipat in 1526 saw Babur defeat Ibrahim Lodi and establish the Mughal Empire. The second battle of Panipat in 1556 restored Mughal power under Akbar after a temporary setback. The third battle of Panipat in 1761 was fought between the Maratha Empire and Ahmad Shah Durrani's Afghan forces, resulting in a devastating Maratha defeat. Chalukya dynasty. The Chalukya dynasty was an influential ruling dynasty in India that controlled large parts of the Deccan region between the 6th and 12th centuries. The Chalukyas are divided into branches, such as the Badami Chalukyas, Western Chalukyas, and Eastern Chalukyas. They were known for military strength, temple architecture, and support of literature and art. Famous architectural sites connected to them include temples at Badami, Aihole, and Patadakal. The Satavahana dynasty. The Satavahana dynasty was an important dynasty that ruled large parts of the Deccan region in India from around the 1st century BCE to the 3rd century CE. The Satavahanas rose after the decline of the Maurya Empire and became a major regional power. They are known for promoting trade, especially with the Roman world, and supporting Buddhism and Hinduism. Their rule contributed to the development of art, cave architecture, and regional culture in central and southern India. Pala Empire. The Pala Empire was a major empire in eastern India and present day Bangladesh from the 8th to 12th centuries. It was founded by Gopala and became one of the most important centers of Buddhist learning and culture in Asia. The palace supported famous universities such as Nalanda and Vikramashila, attracting scholars from many regions. They were also involved in the tripartite struggle over control of northern India. Ahom Kingdom. The Ahom kingdom was a powerful kingdom in the Assam region of northeastern India that lasted for nearly 600 years, from the 13th to the 19th century. It was founded by Sukafa, a Thai prince who migrated into the region from Southeast Asia. The Ahoms successfully resisted several invasions, including major attacks by the Mughal Empire. They developed a strong administrative system and contributed greatly to Assamese culture, architecture, and literature. Aryabhata. Aryabhata was one of the greatest scholars of ancient India, living during the 5th and 6th centuries CE. He made important contributions to mathematics and astronomy, including work on algebra, trigonometry, and the approximation of p. Aryabhata proposed that the earth rotates on its axis, an advanced idea for his time. His famous work, the Aryabhatiya, became highly influential in Indian and later Islamic scientific traditions. Indus Valley. The Indus Valley civilization was one of the world's earliest urban civilizations, existing around 2600 to 1900 BCE in parts of present day India and Pakistan. It is known for advanced city planning, drainage systems, brick buildings, and organized trade networks. Major cities included Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, which showed impressive engineering and urban design for their time. The civilization traded with regions such as Mesopotamia and developed its own undeciphered writing system. Bhakti movement. The Bhakti movement was a major spiritual and cultural movement in India that emphasized personal devotion to God over rigid rituals and social hierarchy. It developed between the medieval and early modern periods and spread across different regions of India. Bhakti saints such as Kabir, Mirabai, and Tulsidas used local languages to make religious ideas accessible to ordinary people. The movement encouraged equality, devotion, and emotional connection with the divine, influencing both Hinduism and Sikhism. Warren Hastings. Warren Hastings was a British administrator who played a major role in expanding the power of the British East India Company in India during the 18th century. He served as the first Governor General of Bengal from 1773 to 1785. Hastings introduced administrative and legal reforms that helped strengthen British control over Indian territories. His rule was controversial, and after returning to Britain, he faced impeachment proceedings over accusations of corruption and abuse of power, though he was eventually acquitted. Srinivasa Ramanujan. Srinivasa Ramanujan was a brilliant self taught mathematician from India who made extraordinary contributions to number theory, infinite series, and mathematical analysis in the early 20th century. Despite having little formal training, he developed highly advanced mathematical formulas and identities. His talent was recognized by British mathematician G. H. Hardy, who invited him to work at the University of Cambridge. Ramanujan's notebooks contain thousands of original results, many of which continued to influence mathematics long after his death. Operation Medjay. The Operation Meghdut was a military operation launched by India in April 1984 to secure control of key positions on the Siachen Glacier in the eastern Karakoram Range. Indian forces occupied strategic mountain passes and high altitude areas before Pakistani troops could establish control there. The operation led to the ongoing Siachen conflict between India and Pakistan, making it one of the highest altitude military deployments in the world. Soldiers in the region face extreme weather, avalanches, and difficult terrain in addition to military tensions. Dina Sanichar. Dina Sanichar was a boy discovered in the 19th century in India after reportedly living among wolves in the wild. He was found by hunters in Uttar Pradesh around 1867 and taken to an orphanage run by missionaries. Dina Sanichar struggled to learn human language and social behavior, even after years of living with people. His story became one of the most famous documented cases of a feral child and is often linked to inspiration for The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. Assam Movement. The Assam Movement was a mass political movement in the state of Assam in India, focused on concerns about illegal immigration and protection of Assamese identity and culture. Led mainly by student organizations such as the All Assam Students Union, the movement demanded the identification and removal of undocumented migrants. It involved protests, strikes, and political negotiations throughout the early 1980s. The movement ended with the signing of the Assam Accord in 1985 between movement leaders and the Indian government. Operation Blue Star. The Operation Blue Star was a military operation carried out by the government of India in June 1984. The operation targeted armed militants, led by Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, who were inside the Golden Temple in Amritsar, the holiest site in Sikhism. Indian armed forces entered the temple complex after escalating tensions and violence in Punjab. The operation resulted in heavy casualties and damage to parts of the complex, causing deep anger among many Sikhs worldwide. The Naxalite Maoist insurgency. The Naxalite Maoist insurgency, often called the Naxalite movement, is a left wing insurgency in India inspired by Maoist ideology. The movement began in 1967 in the village of Naxalbari in West Bengal after a peasant uprising over land rights and inequality. Naxalite groups have operated mainly in rural and forested regions, claiming to fight for marginalized communities and poor farmers. Over the decades, the insurgency has involved clashes with Indian security forces, attacks, and counterinsurgency operations. Sino Indian War. The Sino Indian War was a brief but major conflict fought in 1962 between India and China over disputed Himalayan border regions. Fighting occurred mainly in Aksai Chin in the western sector and Arunachal Pradesh in the eastern sector. Chinese forces advanced rapidly against Indian positions before declaring a unilateral ceasefire. The war exposed weaknesses in India's military preparedness and had a lasting impact on Indian defense and foreign policy. Green Revolution. The Green Revolution in India was a major agricultural transformation that began in the 1960s in India. It involved the introduction of high yield crop varieties, modern irrigation, chemical fertilizers, and improved farming techniques to increase food production. Scientists such as M.S. Swaminathan played important roles in the movement. The Green Revolution greatly increased wheat and rice production, helping India reduce food shortages and become more self sufficient. Tipu Sultan. Tipu Sultan was a powerful ruler of the kingdom of Mysore in southern India during the late 18th century. He was the son of Hyder Ali and is known for resisting the expansion of the British East India Company. Tipu Sultan fought several wars against the British, including the Anglo Mysore Wars, and became famous for using advanced military rockets in battle. He promoted trade administration and modernization within Mizoram. Mizoram is a state in northeastern India that shares borders with Myanmar and Bangladesh. It is known for its mountainous landscape, forests, and strong tribal cultural traditions, especially among the Mizo people. The capital city is Aizawl, which serves as the political and cultural center of the state. Mizoram became a full state of India in 1987 after a peace agreement ended years of insurgency and political conflict. Chipko movement. The Chipko movement was an environmental movement in India during the 1970s that aimed to protect forests from commercial logging. Villagers, especially women, protested by hugging trees. Chipko means to cling, to prevent them from being cut down. The movement began in the Himalayan region of present day Uttarakhand and became a symbol of grassroots environmental activism. Leaders such as Sundarlal Bahuguna helped spread awareness about conservation and sustainable development. The partition of India. The partition of India was the division of the British Raj into the independent countries of India and Pakistan in 1947. The partition was carried out as British colonial rule ended and was largely based on religious demographics, with Muslim majority regions forming Pakistan. It led to one of the largest mass migrations in history, as millions of Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs crossed the new borders. The period was marked by widespread communal violence, displacement, and loss of life. Mysore Wars. The Anglo Mysore Wars were a series of four major wars fought in southern India between the Kingdom of Mysore and the British East India Company during the late 18th century. Mysore was led first by Hyder Ali and later by his son Tipu Sultan, both of whom strongly resisted British expansion. The wars involved shifting alliances with Indian states and European powers such as France. Mysore achieved several early successes. but the British eventually defeated Tipu Sultan in the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War in 1799. Bhurana. Bhirana is an important archaeological site in the state of Haryana, India. It is associated with the Indus Valley civilization and is considered one of the oldest known Harappan settlements discovered so far. Excavations at the site uncovered ancient houses, pottery, tools, and evidence of early farming communities. Some researchers believe the settlement dates back earlier than many other Indus Valley sites. The Dravidian movement. The Dravidian movement was a major social and political movement that began in southern India during the early 20th century, especially in the Tamil speaking region. It promoted social justice, regional identity, and opposition to caste discrimination and perceived dominance by upper caste elites. Leaders such as Periyar A.V. Ramasamy played a central role in shaping the movement's ideology. The movement also emphasized Tamil language and culture, influencing literature, cinema, and politics in Tamil Nadu. The Sikh Empire. The Sikh Empire was a powerful state in the Punjab region of South Asia during the early 19th century. It was founded by Ranjit Singh, often called Maharaja Ranjit Singh, who united various Sikh factions into a strong kingdom. The empire controlled large territories in present day India and Pakistan, including Lahore and Kashmir. It became known for military strength, religious tolerance, and modernization of the army. Aksai Chin. The Aksai Chin dispute is a long running border dispute between India and China over the Aksai Chin region in the western Himalayas. India considers Aksai Chin part of the Union Territory of Ladakh, while China controls the area and administers it as part of Xinjiang and Tibet. The dispute grew more serious after China built a strategic road through the region in the 1950s. It became one of the main causes of the Sino Indian War. The Kiejadi excavations. The Kiejadi excavations are a series of archaeological digs in the village of Kiejadi in Tamil Nadu, India. The excavations uncovered ancient urban style settlements, pottery, tools, inscriptions, and evidence of organized society dating back over 2000 years. The findings are considered important for understanding early Tamil civilization and the Sangam period. Researchers believe the site shows evidence of literacy, trade, craftsmanship, and advanced social organization in ancient South India. Rakhigarhi. Rakhigarhi is one of the largest known sites of the Indus Valley civilization, located in the state of Haryana, India. Archaeologists have discovered remains of planned streets, drainage systems, houses, pottery, jewelry, and burial sites there. The site provides important evidence about urban life, trade, and culture in the Harappan civilization around 2600 to 1900 BCE. Excavations and DNA studies from Rakigarhi have contributed to research on the origins and population history of ancient South Asia. Arikamedu. Arikamedu is an important archaeological site near Puducherry in India. It was a major trading port during ancient times, especially between India and the Roman world, from around the 1st century BCE to the 2nd century CE. Excavations uncovered Roman pottery, beads, amphorae, coins, and evidence of local craftsmanship and trade. The site shows that South India was connected to international maritime trade networks in the ancient world. Udayagiri Caves. Udayagiri Caves are a group of ancient rock cut caves located near Vidisha in Madhya Pradesh, India. The caves date mainly to the period of the Gupta Empire during the 4th and 5th centuries CE. They are famous for Hindu carvings and inscriptions, including a well known sculpture of the god Vishnu in his Varaha form. The site reflects the artistic, religious, and architectural achievements of the Gupta era. Iron Pillar of Delhi, also known as the Mehrauli Iron Pillar, is a famous ancient monument located in Delhi, within the Qutba complex. The pillar was created during the period of the Gupta Empire, likely in the 4th or 5th century CE, and is often associated with King Chandragupta II. It is especially well known because the iron has resisted major rusting for over 1500 years, demonstrating advanced ancient Indian metallurgy. The pillar also contains a Sanskrit inscription praising a Gupta ruler, Dolavira. Dolavira is one of the most important archaeological sites of the Indus Valley civilization, located in the state of Gujarat, India. The ancient city was known for its advanced urban planning, large reservoirs, water management systems, and fortified structures. Dolavira flourished between roughly 3000 BCE and 1500 BCE and was one of the largest Harappan cities. Archaeologists also discovered a large signboard with Indus script symbols at the site, Dwarka. Dwarka is a historic coastal city in India associated with Hindu traditions about the kingdom of Lord Krishna. The idea of an underwater city comes from marine archaeological discoveries off the coast near Dwarka, where researchers found submerged structures, stone blocks, and artifacts beneath the Arabian Sea. Some people connect these findings to descriptions in ancient Hindu texts, while historians and archaeologists continue to debate their exact age and significance. The discoveries suggest that ancient settlements may have existed in the region and were later submerged due to changing sea levels or coastal shifts. The Edicts of Ashoka. The Edicts of Ashoka are a collection of inscriptions carved on rocks and pillars across parts of India and neighboring regions during the reign of Ashoka in the 3rd century BCE. These edicts were written in different languages and scripts and communicated Ashoka's policies, moral teachings, and support for Buddhism after the Kalinga War. They promoted ideas such as nonviolence, religious tolerance, ethical behavior, and welfare for people and animals. The edicts are among the most important historical sources for understanding the Maurya Empire and early Indian history. Nanda dynasty. The Nanda dynasty was a powerful ruling dynasty in northern India during the 4th century BCE, before the rise of the Maurya Empire. The Nandas ruled from the city of Pataliputra and built a large and wealthy empire in the Gangetic Plain. Ancient sources describe them as having a strong centralized administration and a very large army. The dynasty is most commonly associated with its last ruler, Dhanananda, who was overthrown by Chandragupta Maurya with the guidance of Chanakya, Chola Empire. The Chola Empire was one of the most powerful dynasties in southern India, especially between the 9th and 13th centuries. The Cholas were known for their strong navy, overseas trade, efficient administration, and grand temple architecture. Under rulers such as Rajaraja I and Rajendra I, the empire expanded across much of South India and extended influence into Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia. The Cholas built famous temples like the Brihadisvara temple in Thanjavur, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Nale Ba. Nale Ba is a well known urban legend and folklore story from the Karnataka region of India. The phrase Nale Ba means come tomorrow in the Kannada language. According to the legend, a mysterious spirit or witch would knock on doors at night and call people by name. To protect themselves, people wrote Naleba on doors and walls so the spirit would leave and return the next day instead. Nalanda University. Nalanda University was one of the world's earliest and most famous universities, located in present day Bihar, India. It flourished from around the 5th century CE and became a major center for Buddhist learning, philosophy, medicine, mathematics, and astronomy. Scholars and students traveled there from across Asia, including China, Korea, Tibet, and Southeast Asia. The university had large libraries, monasteries, and lecture halls, making it an important intellectual center of the ancient world. Nine Unknown Men. Nine Unknown Men is a legendary story connected to Ashoka in ancient India. According to the legend, after witnessing the destruction of the Kalinga War, Ashoka created a secret society of nine scholars to preserve and control powerful knowledge. The stories claim these men guarded information on subjects such as medicine, communication, astronomy, psychology, and warfare to prevent dangerous misuse. Historians generally view the nine unknown men as folklore or myth rather than proven historical fact. Ram Setup. Ram Setu, also known as Adam's Bridge, is a chain of natural limestone shoals between India and Sri Lanka. In Hindu tradition, it is associated with the epic Ramayana, where Lord Rama's army is said to have built a bridge to reach Lanka. Geologically, the formation consists of sandbanks and coral structures stretching across the shallow sea. The site has cultural, religious, and historical significance and has been the subject of archaeological and scientific discussions. Shambhala. Shambhala is a legendary hidden kingdom described in Tibetan Buddhism and related traditions. It is said to be a pure, enlightened land where wisdom, peace, and spiritual knowledge are preserved. In Buddhist texts, Shambhala is often associated with advanced spiritual teachings and the idea of a future era where a great enlightened king will emerge. It is not considered a real geographical location but rather a symbolic or spiritual concept representing inner enlightenment and harmony. 6174. Capricar's constant is a special number discovered by Indian mathematician D.R. Capricar. It appears when you repeatedly arrange the digits of a four-digit number in descending and ascending order and subtract the smaller number from the larger one. After repeating this process, most four digit numbers eventually reach 6174 and stay there. This property is known as Capricar's routine and is a famous example in recreational mathematics. Rupkund Lake. This is one of the most obscure pieces in Indian history. Rupkund Lake, often called the Skeleton Lake, is known for the discovery of hundreds of human skeletons near its shore. The lake is located in the Himalayas in India at a very high altitude, where ice and snow preserve remains for long periods. The skeletons are believed to be from different time periods, with studies suggesting some date back over 1000 years. Researchers have proposed various theories, including deaths caused by sudden hailstorms, travel accidents, or pilgrim routes. And that was the end of the India Iceberg. Thank you for watching and goodbye.